Hello, good afternoon everybody, and welcome to this afternoon's Fizzback webinar. In particular, I'm delighted to welcome this afternoon our speaker, Emma King of Lifestyle Group. There's over 100 people joining us on the webinar this afternoon, and in particular, thank you to you all for your interest. Firstly, my name is Roland Adshead. I'm the Commercial Director here at Fizzback, and I'm going to be your host for the event this afternoon. I anticipate that the event will last between 30 and 40 minutes, depending upon the number of questions we get time to answer towards the end of the event. At the moment, everybody on the call is on mute, and you will be for the duration of the webinar. We'll be taking questions at the end of the webinar, and you may ask a question by entering it at any point into the question box, which you should see on the right hand side of your screen. We really will do our best to answer these at the end of the event, because I know that you're going to get tremendous value from what Emma is going to say. In terms of our agenda this afternoon, Emma King is firstly going to cover an introduction to LSG, the Lifestyle Services Group, and the role of the feedback within the business. Secondly, Emma will be talking about the choice of Fizzback as their solution and how voice of the customer has been implemented across the contact centre. Finally, Emma will cover the story so far, the benefits that have been achieved, and all of the future developments that are coming down the track quite quickly. And then finally, of course, we'll go to the questions and the answers. Let me give a deeper introduction to Emma. Emma has worked with Lifestyle Services Group for over 6 years, fulfilling roles within various departments within the contact centre. These include customer relations, claims and appeals assessments. Emma's got fantastic experience at the contact centre environment, including the insight functions around root cause analysis and how the system is utilised to discover various aspects of process change and employee change that will benefit the business. Emma is currently implementing the Fizzback solution to add value to the services that LSG offers to its clients. Emma's degree is in politics and communications from the University of Liverpool, and I've always felt that politics and communications are two great skills to have working in large contact centre environments. So without further ado, I'd like to hand the microphone over to Emma, and we'll get on to the meat of the presentation this afternoon.
Good afternoon, everybody. So what I'd firstly like to do is just give you a brief overview of Lifestyle Services Group and the area of the marketplace in which we actually operate. So we are part of the wider Phones for You group of companies, and we were recently acquired by the private equity firm BC Partners. Most of you will probably be familiar with the 4U Group's retail arm, namely Phones for You on the high street, selling mobile phones and contracts across various networks. Lifestyle Services Group is a separate firm to Phones for You, and we operate within a niche insurance market. So the kind of products that we sell involve mobile security products, mobile phone insurance, gadget and other technology device insurance, and we also offered bundled affinity partner solutions to a number of our clients. The key areas that we operate in are within the telecoms and financial services sectors, and some of you may be familiar with us if you, say, have an added value account through your high street bank, say a Premier account with Lloyds TSB. We actually administrate the mobile phone insurance element of that product for you. Or if you happen to be a Halifax or Bank of Scotland customer, we have a bundled solution that we administrate for them and a hub call centre that handles most of their customer service inquiries. So now to tell you a little bit about the role of customer insight at LSG. So for us, customer insight and customer feedback is really about understanding in the marketplace what are customer expectations for our insurance solutions and what are the key elements of our customer journeys. What we want to do is understand the performance of our existing insurance schemes in terms of customer satisfaction and also advocacy. For us, we need to gather feedback in order to drive improved process performance, and we have a dedicated continuous improvement function within the business that helps us use that information to drive operational efficiency as well as positive customer experience. We also, of course, want to use customer feedback to allow us to identify, recognise and most importantly reward positive agent performance. And we also use it to identify negative agent level feedback so that we can support an agent's ongoing development needs within the company through our operational contact centres. Feedback for LSG is about enabling us to offer a solution that incorporates what our clients want from us in terms of brand values and advocacy, and allows us to align our customer satisfaction scores and net promoter scores with those of the actual clients we work with. And obviously this is very important where we're working in a affinity marketplace, and whilst we're servicing their end consumers, ultimately it's a business to business client relationship we have. So next I'd like to talk about what customer feedback actually tells us at LSG. So for us, customer experience is really about a combination of process design and then also the service quality that we have within our frontline contact centres. The processes that we use to administrate, assess and fulfil claims will be defined for us by the client contractual agreements that we have. So there'll be key process components in there that drive dissatisfaction or drive advocacy and positive customer experience. We also want to understand what the moments of truth are in that customer journey. So which are the key parts in a customer's claims journey that it's absolutely vital that we get right for them in order to drive a positive experience. It also identifies for us opportunities to improve operational efficiency, and you'll see that further on in the slide deck where we talk about some of the activities we've taken from verbatim responses from customers. The other key element in terms of what customer feedback can tell us is around the service standards, and these are defined collaboratively between Lifestyle Services Group and our clients. So we have a culture within the business across all of our service centres about what we expect our frontline advisors to do in terms of customer facing behaviours, but there'll also be specific brand values that the client wants us to include in our conversations with the customers and in terms of how we monitor our agents and their performance. We want to know what outstanding customer service looks like from a customer's point of view, and feedback's very important for us to enable us to identify this. We also need feedback in order to ensure that our actual customer excellence principles and the key behaviours that we use with our agents from induction through to in life whilst they may have been in the call centre for 18 months are the right values, and they're the right values for that particular brand. Next, I want to talk to you about why we selected Fizzback as our customer feedback partner of choice. So there was an existing and very successful relationship within the Phones for You group in the retail environment, and this had been supporting increased customer advocacy across that retail space. So having heard of their success story and having recognised that we needed to go out and gather customer feedback, Fizzback was the first company that we approached in order to understand what solution they could offer us. The solution they offered us is really unique in the marketplace, as they offer us the ability to measure different metrics on behalf of our clients, so whether net promoter score or customer satisfaction is the most relevant, and also allows us to text mine those verbatim responses as well and gain a further deeper level of insight about customer emotion around different stages in their claims journey. The other key thing was that the solution we have was built around our industry and our processes, and Fizzback took the time to understand what it was we wanted to achieve through our customer insight programme and what outputs we were expecting to get from the customer feedback. We're also about to migrate to the new Platform 5 solution with Fizzback, and this is really important for us in an affinity partner environment because it's giving us the ability to quickly configure a customer feedback solution that meets our clients' needs and allows us to onboard new clients with LSG to the customer insight programme very, very quickly from day one. Also key for us is the ability to export the data from the actual Fizzback dashboard solution. So this gives us the ability to get another granular level of analysis against the other customer profile information we hold within LSG, and also alongside our clients as well. And that ensures that we get absolute maximum level of insight and information to allow us to make positive decisions for our customers within the business. And most importantly for us, the solution is multi-purpose. So I'm aware a number of companies will use a text survey tool primarily as a performance management metric for their frontline contact centre staff. If the Fizzback tool just did that for LSG, frankly, it wouldn't be giving us the level of value we wanted. What it also does is helps us identify process performance and identify opportunities to review those processes and improve, as I mentioned, operational efficiency and work alongside our clients to deliver a better customer experience overall. This is just a brief example of what our dashboard looks like at the moment. So what's brilliant for us is that my customer insight team can go into this on a daily basis, understand what's happening in the call centre, identify any negative agent level feedback, and also we can see very quickly the impact of any process or changes we've made within the contact centre. Moving on, what I'd like to talk about now is how we've gone about implementing successfully a customer insight programme within LSG. So our journey started in 2010 following a small-scale trial with one of our key financial services partners. The value of that trial was very broadly recognised within the business, and that information was shared across the business at senior management and director level. The information we gained from that trial on one scheme actually challenged some of our existing perceptions as managers within LSG of what customers thought about our experience or what we thought might be the key areas that customers might cause customer dissatisfaction. Given the value that we got out of that trial and the level of awareness and engagement at a senior level within the business, it was acknowledged that in order to drive our business forward and to ensure we're market leading, we really do have a requirement to understand what our customers' expectations are and what is their feedback about our existing services. So a broader customer insight strategy was agreed within the business, and we also gained board level buy-in for the approach we wanted to take, and this included rolling out the Fizzback feedback solution across all of our existing schemes, working alongside our clients. Customer insight is now one of our board's top 10 priorities for 2011, and that will continue on into 2012. Also important for us was to ensure we had the right strategy to engage with our clients regarding this. So we needed to define how we offered the service to clients and ensured that the actual text surveys that we're sending out are tailored to their values, and also that we can highlight through our own analysis any key focus areas for them. And Fizzback have worked alongside us to ensure that we develop the right question set for each of the different clients we work with. Another key element for ensuring that any voice of the customer or customer feedback programme is successful is to ensure you've got the right operational infrastructure to deliver the level of analysis and buy-in at a strategic level to actually deliver change from the back of that. And because we had board level buy-in and agreement, I'm lucky enough to now have a team of people working for me whose sole focus is using this customer insight information that the Fizzback tool gives us to drive change within the business. Also important for us was that the engagement between Fizzback and Lifestyle Services Group, and particularly our project and business change departments, was very, very good to ensure that the actual polling process itself, the survey process itself, was really of a very high quality, and we got the kind of response rates that we wanted to see. So I'm pleased to say that our response rates post mobile phone insurance claim are fantastic at the moment, and this really does give us a huge amount of very valid data around how those processes perform and how our frontline agents are performing. Now we're going to look at our wider customer experience programme at LSG. So Fizzback is our core customer feedback tool, and that tool is part of a wider programme within LSG which is focused all around customer experience. And there's 3 strands to that programme, and I believe this has enabled us to be very successful in delivering change both in terms of process and frontline with our contact centre staff. So we have a centralised customer experience function, and their job is to ensure the coordination of any activity relating to customer experience changes, track our delivery against the objectives that we've agreed with board, also track benefits realisation and positive improvements to the customer experience, and they also assist me in terms of communicating and managing key stakeholders within the business and our clients. Feeding into that wider customer experience programme, you've got a section I'm calling Process Excellence, and this is all around our continuous improvement function. And my role managing customer insight is to ensure that we identify areas that should be focused on by this continuous improvement team. They're going to drive real change in our customer satisfaction or net promoter scores and make recommendations to them based on what customers are telling us of what potential solutions might be. Our continuous improvement function will then take that information away, review that and understand what the business case for those changes will be, and they will then discuss that change internally within the business and gain approval for that change. We also have our customer excellence strand of the customer experience programme, and this is managed by our learning and development team. So the information that we gain through customer feedback is directly used to influence our training programmes for our frontline staff and also to team manager and operations manager level within the contact centre. And that's not just from when they start in the business, so we set the right behaviours with them from day one, but also as a continuous learning and development cycle. So an agent who's been here 18 months will continue to receive training around the service standards and the behaviours that we expect from them, just as much as an agent starting with us on day one. So our story so far. To date, we've actually surveyed over 12,000 customers around their claims experience with LSG. We did initially start surveying our registration process, but the feedback that we gathered from that identified that that wasn't necessarily a key moment in truth in the customer journey for us. So we've chosen to poll more customers regarding their claims experience because the Fizzback tool has allowed us to identify that's the area where we can drive the most value. Over the time period we've been working with Fizzback, our average CSAT score for claims has increased month on month, and from June 2011 we've seen some really significant changes following implementation of process and service changes in the call centre. Our positive agent comments have increased by 266% since the implementation of a Service Stars recognition reward in May. And I'll go on to talk a little bit more about that later in the presentation. We've also seen a very consistent improvement in the percentage of customers who are giving us a satisfied or very satisfied score when we ask them about their overall claims experience. And we've had a 2% increase in that pot of satisfied or very satisfied customers in the last 3 months alone, which, considering we're operating an insurance process and bearing in mind that customers do have a particular perception around the insurance industry and the service that they may receive through that claims experience, I think a 2% increase is actually a fantastic achievement for us. We've also seen a 4% increase in the actual average customer satisfaction score across all the polling that we do between June and August of this year. And I'm obviously eagerly awaiting to see what September month end has to bring us. So now the really important bit. So any feedback programme, you need to be able to demonstrate the value that that's giving to your business. So in terms of actual benefits realisation for us, it's very important that I can demonstrate to my key stakeholders within LSG that we are making measurable impact in customer satisfaction and advocacy. And if we happen to gain some operational efficiency alongside that, all the better for us. So on a monthly basis, we actually create a client-facing customer insight pack where we will sit down with our client services managers internally at LSG and our clients. We will discuss the scores, we'll discuss what's coming through in the verbatim comments, discuss any key themes or any specific areas that they're wanting to understand, any changes or fluctuations in the score, and also where we are in terms of their customer experience targets internally with clients. We'll also review the impact of any previously implemented actions, so we understand what's actually happened to the customer satisfaction score since those changes have gone in, and demonstrate that we're adding value for that client. So I'd just like to give you some examples of some of the key changes that we've seen, and I've broken those down into process changes and customer service changes. So in terms of process changes, we identified through our feedback that our customers are actually very satisfied to have a repair process for a mobile phone, and really happy when they get their original mobile phone back to them repaired. However, it's the time scale that we operate to repair that mobile phone that is a key driver of a positive customer experience. So we used that information to have a discussion with one of our clients and agreed as part of a contractual review that we would reduce that repair timescale, and we've seen a measurable improvement in the customer satisfaction scores for customers who are now going through that accidental damage claims process versus previously before we reduced that repair timescale. Another key theme that's come out strongly in some of our feedback is customers feeling challenged around understanding what's going on with their claim with us. So we have a lot of traffic into our contact centres, which is around what's happening with my claim, has it been approved, has my phone been received at the repair centre. And what they're asking us for, and what they're commenting about in their verbatim feedback, is I'd like to be able to get this information myself without bothering your customer service staff to discuss it. So we've taken on board what they've said, and as part of a new CRM solution that we're implementing business-wide over the next 18 months, we've ensured that that capability is built into the new CRM solution. And we also expect to get operational efficiency gains through this, as well as improved customer satisfaction by reducing the number of calls coming into the call centre and enabling self-serve for those customers that would prefer to gain that information via those channels. Another key process change for us that we're actually building a business case about at the moment is we've been able to identify by analysing positive customer satisfaction scores and verbatim comments against some of the complaint data within my customer relations function. And what we've been able to demonstrate is that by having really effective, really empowered and incredibly knowledgeable staff dealing with a customer dissatisfaction who are empowered to make decisions, we've got the ability to turn what was a negative experience into a really positive wow experience for the customer, where they go away feeling really cared about. And what this is encouraging us to do at the moment is look at what can we do to identify that dissatisfaction earlier in the customer journey to prevent the complaint, and what can we do to further empower our staff front line so they can deal with those dissatisfactions before they reach complaint stage. So in terms of some of the key customer service changes, the main element of this for us has been about implementing what we've called our Service Stars programme. Now, I'm aware many companies will use a text survey tool such as Fizzback specifically just to measure agent performance and to associate it with their agent remuneration scheme. That is an important element for us, but at present we haven't directly linked this to agent remuneration. but we've been able to demonstrate through our Service Stars programme just how powerful positive internal publicity within the business and agent recognition actually can be in the call centre. So on a monthly basis, we have a big award ceremony in the contact centres. We get somebody very visible at senior level, preferably a director, to actually come up and present an award to the agent who's received the most positive comments from our customers. And we also have a set of league tables that we update on a daily basis for the agents, so that they can see on the plasma screens dotted throughout our call centres, and also through our internal web page. They can see exactly where they're performing, and it's generated a real spirit of competition and a real pride in the service that they're delivering to the customers. And shows them that even in an insurance environment where not every conversation is going to be delivering a positive message, we can actually give a positive customer experience to those customers over the phone through our agent population. Now, obviously, we do receive some negative agent level feedback, and that is actually investigated within my own customer insight function, and we will go back in and have a listen to those agents' calls. Now, if we feel the feedback from the customer is justified and we can identify a development area for that agent, we have a closed coaching loop in place with our operations team frontline. So we will actually contact the team manager and the operations manager for that agent and ensure that that data is fed back to those staff. And they actually see this in quite a positive light. So we have a separate quality assurance process that is more subjective, so that the agents see this as being very valid feedback because it's coming directly from the customer. We also use the verbatim comment analysis that the dashboard gives us to support and continue to improve our customer excellence principles, as discussed previously. And again, this underpins our culture of customer excellence throughout our learning and development department, and then this is continued out within the operation by the operations managers and our team managers, and they're all really bought into the level of information and the feedback that we get from our customers. And finally, I'd like to talk to you about sort of future programme development for us at Lifestyle Services Group. So really key for me in the last quarter of this year is our migration to the new Fizzback Platform 5 solution, and we're hoping to have that done end of October, early November. And what this will enable us to do is get a deeper level of process insight. So we've, alongside Fizzback and with their support, we've been able to revise the categories that are contained within our dashboard and how the verbatim comments will be classified, and that will help us identify processes that we want to talk to our continuous improvement team about and track customer feedback based on any changes we've put in place. We're also really excited with the Fizzback 5 solution to be able to filter and export data real time, and that enables us to go to key stakeholders who may have approved a process change and say, hey, yeah, this is great, it's working brilliantly, look what your customers are saying. Or sometimes, hey, no, this really hasn't worked, look what your customers are saying. So we can react very, very quickly based on what our customers are telling us. Another key thing for me is going to be to onboard our remaining clients to our wider customer experience programme and ensure that we're polling across all of the insurance schemes that we have within LSG. So our aim is to be surveying through Fizzback over 6,000 customers a month by the end of November and over 10,000 customers by the end of Q1 next year. We're also going to be continuing to measure the impact of the planned future process changes we've got on our customer satisfaction and net promoter scores, and our key aim is to increase our customer satisfaction score by 10% over the next 6 months. And really integral to that is to be able to benchmark where we are now with our existing CRM solution and see the impact of our new CRM solution as it goes live across our insurance schemes over the next couple of months. So I'd like to thank you all for listening. I hope you found that interesting and hopefully insightful. So we're free now for any questions that you may have.
That's right. Thank you, Emma, for that really interesting story about how customer feedback has enabled operational improvement within LSG and at the same time improving the experience for LSG's customers. We have had quite a large number of questions come through on the webinar this afternoon, so I'm going to try and group them into common areas. So the first question, Emma, that's come up has been about the contact centre agents. How did the contact centre agents feel about seeing their own customer feedback about their own calls?
So we've never done anything in LSG prior to Fizzback where we were getting direct customer feedback and talking to agents about that. Our agents have actually been spectacularly well engaged with this process, in part probably because we have an existing quality assurance process that monitors things like compliance, and obviously we're an FSA regulated firm, and that monitoring has always been very subjective and done remotely by other individuals within the business. So for them to get feedback, be it positive or developmental, from a customer, they see that as a really, really good thing. And if at some point in the future we do choose to use the survey tool with Fizzback as part of our agent remuneration scheme, the fact that we've gone in with it the way we have and are positively recognising performance means that I think our agents will be really on board for that as well, given the positive reception we've had so far.
Great, that's a great answer. The second group of questions has been around more broadly employee engagement, as well as the contact centre agents seeing their own feedback. Could I ask you, how did you create the right levels of employee engagement around the Fizzback solution?
So, in terms of employee engagement, it's actually probably easier to engage staff at your lower levels within your business, so your frontline agents and your team managers. That's easy to do. As a people manager, that's something we do day in, day out. What's harder is to ensure that your key stakeholders at a senior level within your business are engaged. And in fairness, what the tool produces, direct customer feedback, makes those conversations at director level when you're discussing long-term strategy for your business so much more powerful. You know, we can all say that we think we know what we could do better within a company, but for a customer to come out and say that just adds so much more weight to your argument. And if you make sure you maintain regular contact with those key stakeholders in the business and tell them about the change that you've delivered and what you're planning to do, that level of engagement and support for our activity will continue within the company.
Great. The third question would be, and it's the one that usually comes up on these events, but it's if you could share one piece of advice about your learnings and from your learnings with this audience, what would that one piece of advice really be?
I think I've probably got two bits of advice I'd like to share. The first of those is about ensuring you've got the right people within your operation to act on the feedback you're receiving. So when I was doing a lot of research into customer insight and voice of the customer programs, I think the mistake it's easy to make is to get really excited about running off and gathering customer feedback, and you gather it across different channels and you've got this huge repository of customer information. However, if you don't have the right people with the right skill set and the right business knowledge in place to use that information internally in order to talk to the right departments, to get decisions, to make changes and actually deliver change, then you're collecting the feedback but you're not making the best use of it. So it's about ensuring you've got the right people in place to deliver change based on that feedback you receive from your customer. And I think the second piece of advice, I'd return again to talking about your key stakeholders within your business. So I don't think we would have been as successful with Fizzback and be moving to a new and improved platform with them that's going to give us a greater level of insight, if we hadn't made sure that from day one at the senior level within the business they were engaged and they acknowledged and they recognised that we needed to obtain customer feedback to keep us in a market leading position and to keep our innovation in the products that we offer.
Great. And we've got time for one more question, so let me pick this one from the list. The question is, how have your customers responded to receiving the Fizzback surveys?
A lot of them are very surprised, in all honesty. So for an insurance company, again, there's a definite perception that any dealings with an insurance company may cause a particular individual some challenges. For us to actually go out there and then ask them their opinion of their overall experience with us, they're quite shocked in a good way that we will go out there and ask them for that level of information. And something that we're working on at the moment is where customers have provided us with some really good insight that's driven a process change, is actually letting those customers know we've made changes, so that they may have scored us 2 out of 10 because they didn't like the way a particular process worked within the business. Well, actually, if they've given us a different idea on how to do that we've then gone on to employ within the company, we can turn that person into an advocate of LSG by sharing the fact that we've used that information to do something positive.
Great. Emma, that's been fantastic. Thank you very much for sharing the LSG story with us so far. If I may just recap what I think have been the 3 major points this afternoon. Firstly, we've heard how Fizzback has enabled customer feedback to be used across LSG for multiple purposes in multiple parts of the organisation and the resulting benefits. Secondly, how the customer feedback has led to operational efficiencies, including process improvements and improvements in frontline staff behaviours. And lastly, as we've just heard, improvements in the customer experience of the customers who've received and responded to the feedback requests. And thirdly, we've heard the phrase a number of times this afternoon, brand value, ensuring that brand value is properly communicated in the right way to the right customers by the right agents. So it finally falls on me, Emma, to say once again, many thanks. It's a fascinating story, and we look forward to trying to keep in touch with it over the coming months. So Emma, thank you very much. Finally, to those people on the call this afternoon, thank you very much for attending. You'll see at the bottom of the screen there contact information for Fizzback. So if there's further information that you would like, please get in touch. And once again, thank you for attending this afternoon.